For today's project, I'll be showing you guys how I made this beautiful coffee table from a plastic pallet that I had at home. Please stick to the end to watch the full tutorial of how I transformed a plastic pallet into a beautiful high-end coffee table. So first of all, I had to take the measurement of the height of the pallets so as to know if it ranges between the normal height of a coffee table, which is 16 inches to 18 inches. But the pallet was a bit shorter as compared to the normal height of a coffee table, so I had to find a solution on how to enhance the height of the plastic pallet so as to fit the normal height of a coffee table. The width of my pallet was 110 centimeters by 80 centimeters. To enhance the height of my coffee table, I had to use some offcuts of MDF boards that I had at home on the lower sides of the plastic pallets. I had to use two boards of 18mm combined so as to create an enhancement of 36mm on the height of the pallets. I used liquid nail to glue down the MDF boards onto the lower part of the plastic pallets. So first of all, I had to secure the board using the liquid nail before adding the screws onto the MDF boards. You can also use wood glue on these parts, but I preferred using liquid nail, which is a multi-purpose glue, for this project. For those who are watching this video for the first time, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Roxy Nimis. I normally do simple home decor DIYs which are budget friendly. For those who are interested in watching more of my videos, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell so as to get notified whenever I post other DIY videos. On to my returning subscribers, I'd love to say thank you so much guys for your love and support. Keep supporting Roxy Nimis via watching my videos and also sharing them with your friends and family. Thank you so much. After securing the MDF boards onto the lower part of the plastic pallet, I went ahead to add some screws onto the MDF boards. I used 50mm screws on these parts. For those who would love to join our DIY classes which are ongoing, I'll put the contact in my description box so as to get in touch for those who would love to join our ongoing physical and online DIY classes. Once I was done on the other side, I went ahead to the next part. So I had to see if the MDF boards had fitted in perfectly on the lower side of the pallets. To cover the plastic pallet all round, I had to use some piece of old MDF boards that I had at home, but to get the design I had to take the MDFs to a CNC so as to have them grooved into the design as seen in the video. So first, as usual, I started by securing the MDFs onto the side of the plastic pallet using some liquid nail glue. For those who are interested in getting such liquid nail, I'll put the contact in the description box of where you can get the liquid nail. The reason why I used liquid nail on this project is because it really works well on plastic and wood as compared to wood glue, and also cures faster compared to wood glue. I then added some nails to make sure the MDF board is held well on the side of the plastic pallets. If you don't have an electric nailer, you can also use normal nails with a hammer. You can just nail down the MDF boards using the normal nails. I did the same thing onto the front parts of the plastic pallets. Once I was done, this is how the plastic pallet turned out. It's slowly turning out to be a beautiful coffee table. So I proceeded to the next part, which is the painting process. So first of all, to fill in the holes that I made using the electric nailer, I had to use a body filler to fill in the openings which are visible on the MDF boards. In our DIY classes, you get a chance to learn how to do painting preparation on MDF boards. You get a full tutorial of step-by-step painting process, and you get a chance to know the materials that you have to use while painting the MDF. So for those who are still interested in joining our classes, don't forget to contact my number, which is on my description box. I had to cover the holes all around and also the opening which were visible on the joints of the MDF. Then left the filler to dry for about an hour. After that, I proceeded to the next part, which was scraping off the filler. On this part, I had to use a P60 sandpaper because the filler was a bit dry, so I had to use a P60. You can use a P60 or a P80 sandpaper for this part. So I had to scrap off the filler one at a time all around the coffee table. On the second part of MDF painting preparation was application of spot putty all around the MDF board. To make it easier to apply, I had to thin it using thinner. Since the spot putty is a bit thick, so to make it a bit thinner, you have to use standard thinner to make it lighter for easier application on the MDF board. For easier application, I had to use a piece of cloth to apply the spot putty on the MDF board. Reason of applying the putty on the MDF board is to smoothen the rough texture of the MDF board. As we know, when an MDF is grooved, it tends to have a rough texture, and to remove that rough texture you have to apply spot putty and scrub it off so as to get a smooth texture, so as to have a smooth finish while doing the final paints. On the third part is application of primer. So I had to use my spray gun to apply the primer all around the coffee table. So these are undercoats, which is normally used on MDF boards. On this part, I had to apply 2 coats of the primer all around the coffee table before proceeding to the final part, which was painting the final paint on the coffee table. So first of all, I started with painting the line. I wanted the line to be in black color, so I used the matte black paint for that part. Onto the rest of the coffee table, I painted all white. I used 3 coats of white paint all around the coffee table. Once the paint had dried, I proceeded to the next part, which was adding the furniture legs on the lower part of the coffee table. For those who are interested in such furniture legs, I'll put the contact in the description box. I then used 30 mm screws to secure the furniture legs on the lower part of the coffee table. Once I was done, I went ahead to place the plastic marble sheet onto the middle part of the coffee table. I used a marble black to match the legs and also the white color on the sides of the coffee table. First, I started by placing it to see if it fits in perfectly before adding the glue onto the coffee table. I used contact glue, which works perfectly well with a marble sheet, so I had to spread the contact glue all around the plastic pallets before adding the marble sheet. I left the contact glue to cure for about 10 to 15 minutes before placing the marble sheet onto the middle part of the coffee table. Once I was done, I went ahead to place the marble sheet onto the middle part. So I had to make sure it fits in perfectly, and then I pressed it so that it could hold on to the contact glue. Once I was done, I went ahead to remove the masking tape onto the line that I had painted black earlier, and I was so happy that the masking tape didn't remove the paint at all. Then finally proceeded to remove the protective film of the marble sheet. I normally work with the protective film to avoid the scratches on my marble sheet while doing the projects. I just loved how the marble sheet has a gloss effect which looks like a glass, and it gives a high-end finish on your projects. That's why I had to use a marble sheet on these projects. Marble sheet comes in different colors and design. For those who are interested in getting such marble sheet, I'll put the contact in the description box. And once I had cleaned the coffee table, this is how our coffee table turned out. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this simple upcycling of a plastic palette into a beautiful high-end coffee table. And if you really love this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and also leave a comment in the comment section. I'll really appreciate that. Thank you so much guys for watching. For those who'd love to watch more of my videos, kindly check out the end screen. Bye bye, see you next time for a new DIY.